10-1. And you said we got to 16? 18? Okay. So it's p squared plus 5p equals 6. So what's the first thing that you have to do with that problem?
Take out p.
Well, the algorithm says what do you have to do first?
Move the 6.
Okay, you got to get 0 by itself, right? So you're going to move the 6 over to the left-hand side because you want to get this in descending order, leading term positive. So this is what you would do, right? So now it's descending order, leading term positive, 0 by itself. Then you say, is there a common factor? There's no common factor. So then you say it's a trinomial, is it a special case? And the thing that should pop out at you is that you have a negative sign right there, and you would have to have a positive for it to be a special case. So you say it's not a special case. So then it's going to factor by trial and error. So you're going to have a P and a P. What are the signs?
Opposite.
Opposite signs, because that thing there is a negative. So it's plus and a minus. Two numbers times itself is 6, whose difference is 5. 6 and 1, right? Now, which one's going to be positive?
The 6s.
The 6 is positive. The 1's negative. So now you're ready to apply the principle. So P equals negative 6 or P equals 1. So 20. It says T squared minus 16 equals 15T. What do you have to do first?
Subtract 15.
Okay, you got to get 0 by itself, so you're subtracting the 15. So you're going to go T squared, and then what are you going to put?
Minus 15.
The minus 15, because you're going to try to get the descending order and leading term positive all done at once. So now you're set with that. Is there a common factor? No. So then is it a special case? No, because that negative sign, that'll kick it out. So it's going to be factoring by trial and error. It's a T and a T with what signs? Opposite.
They're going to be
Opposite signs, aren't they? That's
opposite,
negative.
but
Now, two numbers times itself is 16, whose difference is 50.
Negative 16.
Okay, it's 16 and 1, and the 16 has got to be negative. Okay, then you apply the principle. So T equals negative 1, T equals 16. So now we go 22. By the way, if you're doing the problems on your own, had a student come up in that 31, I got x minus 28. That's actually x minus 18. I think that's what we figured out in order to get what the answer books has for answers. Back to 22. It says 3y squared is 4y minus 4 equals 0. So 0 is by itself, it's descending order, leading term positive, no common factors, trinomial, special case, no, because that negative in front of that constant term 4 throws it out. So it's trial and error. So it's a y and a y. What's the signs?
Opposite.
Okay, plus and minus. Now, what is the combination? And because the signs are opposite, it's a difference of 4.
It's the 1 and 3.
The 1 and 3 and what?
2 and 2.
2 and 2. Difference of 4. So it's the 2 times the 3 is 6, and the 1 times the 2 is 2, and the 6 and 2 is a difference of 4. Now, the 2 and 2, these here, does not make any difference where you put them, right? They're both the same number. But now it makes a difference. The 3 goes with which 2? Well, because this is negative, the larger product must be negative. So the 3 and the 1, which one of those two makes the larger product? Okay, well, the 3 makes the larger product. And notice the 3 has to be associated with this 2 to get a product of negative, right? Negative 6. You need to have it negative 6. So that 3 has got to be there. So you understand, the larger product has got to be negative. And the 3 with the 2 is the larger product. So to be negative, that 3 has to be associated with the 2 that's over there to get a negative 6. Now you apply the principle. So y is going to equal a negative 2/3, right? Or y equals a positive 2, right? $22, $24. Okay, I don't like S's because S's will look like 5s, or if you're real sloppy, they'll look like a 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write this as 2x squared minus 9x plus 9. Just make sure when you change the letters that you change all the letters. Because I've changed letters and done 2x squared minus 9s. Leave some of the old letters in. So anyway, this is 0 by itself, descending order, leading term positive. Common factors, none. Trinomial, special case. You rule it out because that isn't squared. You see there's a plus here. This is a squared term, but this is not squared. So you rule that out. So now it's trial and error with an x and an x. What are the signs? What? Well, this plus says they're the same sign. What sign is it? Negative sign. Both negatives. So that it's going to be a, because they're both the same sign, this 9 has got to be what? A sum or a difference? Sum. When the signs are the same, it's got to be a sum. 1 and 2 1 and 9, 3 and 3. Now, what combination makes a sum of 9? You sure? I mean, the closest you come to 9 would be 11. You want the 3 and 3? If you took the 2 times the 3 is 6. 1 times the 3 is 3. And then added 6 and 3, you would get 9, wouldn't you? Right, Nick? Okay. So the 3 and 3 doesn't make any difference where I put it? No, 3 and 3. Doesn't make any difference where I put the 2. Doesn't, does it? So now 2x minus 3 equals 0, or x minus 3 equals 0. So this says x equals a positive 3 over 2, and this one says x equals a positive 3. So there's my two answers right there. (26) 2r squared plus r equals 6. Now,
We're gonna get the 6 to the other side.
Okay.
Equals 0,
2r squared plus r
minus 6.
minus 6.
And it's not a special case, so you do trial and error.
Okay. So it's got to be an r and an r with what signs?
Opposite sides.
When it's negative there, what are the signs? Opposite. If this is positive, then you look here and say it's positive. If this is a negative sign, then it's opposite signs. The only way you can get a negative when you do the L in FOIL is if the last terms are opposite signs, right? Right, Damon? Yeah. So it's opposite sign. So now it's 1 and 2, 1 and 6, and 2 and 3. Now, because it's opposite signs, this has got to be a difference of 1. So what combination makes a difference of 1? What combination makes a difference of 1? Kyler, do you know? Okay, that 2 with that 2, right? With a 4, and this 1 with that 3, 3, and the difference is 1. Correct? That's what you said. So now, where does the 2 and where does the 3 go? This one here. The larger product has got to be what? A positive or negative? Positive. So which is involved in the larger product, the 2 or the 3?
No.
Which is involved in the larger product, 2 or the 3 of these two? The 2 is, right? This 2 is involved with that 2 to get a 4. So that this 2 right here has got to go positive. That means the 3 has got to go negative. Now this 2 is associated with this 2, so this 2 goes where? Right over there with that one, right? Now this is a good example where the larger term, larger product is the smaller of these two terms. That's why when you talk about it to yourself, talk about it as the larger product, not the larger number. Okay. So r plus 2 equals 0, or 2r minus 3 equals 0. R then equals minus 2, or r equals a positive 3/2, right? Makes sense? 28. It says 6x squared equals 7x minus 2. What are we going to do first?
Bring the 7x in minus 2.
Okay, we want to get 0 by itself, and you're going to go 0 on the right-hand side. Damon says bring the 7x over as a negative and bring the 2 over as a positive. Now, it's leading term positive, descending order, 0 by itself, common factors, none, right? Not a special case, so it's a trial and error thing. So it's an X and an X. What are the signs?
They're the same, both negative.
Okay, same sign, negative sign. That's what David says. So now we got to go. Now, is that 7 a sum or a difference?
It's a sum.
It's a sum, because the signs are the same. 1 and 6, 2 and 3, 1 and 2. Okay, so how do we arrange it so that we have a sum of 7? Okay. So you're saying the 2 and 3 and the 1 and the 2. So does it make any difference where the 1 and 2 goes? No. 1 and 2. Now does it make a difference? What's associated with the 1 here? The 3 is. And what's associated within the 2? The 2 is, right? Got it? Now we're ready to apply the principle. 2x minus 1 equals 0. So this is x is equal to 1/2, or x is equal to 2/3, right? Did everyone get it? Did you get it, Whitney? 30 says 3 minus 2y minus 8y squared equals 0. What do we have to do with that?
8y squared.
Okay. You want to write it in descending order? Is that what you're talking about? Now what?
Wait.
You want your leading term positive, right? What would you do? There's a couple.
Should be
What? What?
Should be negative.
It should be negative. So how are you going to get the leading term negative?
Change the other sign and make it down positive. So you make the 8 positive and then the 2y positive and the negative.
Okay. So in essence, what you're telling me, I think, is you're going to multiply this by -1 and this by -1?
Yes.
Okay. Now, could you also take everything over to the right-hand side? And that would change everything, so that you'd have a positive. So there's a couple ways you can do it, but this is just as good as anything. So now we have a positive 8y squared plus 2y minus 3. I just want to take a moment to just tell you, The reason that you want that leading numerical coefficient to be positive rather than negative, this is going to be a trial and error factoring. And if you don't make that leading numerical coefficient positive, then what's going to happen is your first terms are going to have to be opposite signs rather than your last terms. Does that make sense? So you just don't want to you don't want to go there. It just makes too confusing in figuring it out. So that's why you always make that leading numerical coefficient positive. So now it's y, and what are your signs?
Opposite.
So it's opposite signs. When it's opposite signs, it's always a what? Difference. So now you go factor this. Now which one makes a difference of 2?
Two
What?
and 4, 4 and 3.
Okay, and so you're going to, now, you got to figure out which one is the larger product, because you got to get a positive 2, right?
4.
Okay, well, which one of these two is the larger?
Sorry, 1.
When you use 2 and 4 and 1 and 3, you're multiplying the 2 by what? The 3, right? And the 4 by the 1, is that right, Nick?
Yeah.
So which one is involved in the larger? Which one of these two is involved in the larger product?
3.
The 3. And what is the 3 going to have to be?
6.
Positive, right? Just, you were doing things too quick. Do you understand what
Yeah,
I'm
it
saying?
is.
Do you? I mean, you were kind of
Yeah, no, no.
doing the vibration thing there. Okay. So now with this 3, what was associated with that 3? The 2, right? So that means it's got to go here, and the 1 was the 4, so the 4's got to go there. Correct? All right. Come on, everybody take a breath. Everyone understand. Do you understand, the larger product thing when you talk about it? I mean, what you want to do is talk your way through these things, especially the harder ones. Figure out what it is. And just, in your mind, just talk your way through it. And then, Nick, when you get nervous, take a deep breath and slow down. Right?
I was kind of ahead of myself.
Yeah, I know it. That's where you are. You're just out there going 100 mile an hour. 2y minus 1 equals 0. So then y is going to equal what? Negative 3/4? Or y equals 1/2. Now I'm taking the time to do a lot of these because I'm telling you 7 is this stuff. Chapter 7 is this stuff right here. So this is actually a review for you, and then when you go back and make sure that when I do the test, I've written the test. It's 2 off of every section. There's 2 odd numbered problems off of every section. So 7-1, I got 2 odds that you should have done. Off 7-2, I got 2 odds that you should have done. 7-3, and so on. I did not make one problem up. If I did anything and I decided to take something with an S, I might have changed it to an X. You understand what I'm saying?
You should also do that with keys.
Do I?
You should also do that with keys.
With T? Okay, well, it's already written, so that might not. This is, I want to warn you about something. If you see a problem that mix variables up, ask me about it, because what I've done is I might have tried to change from an S to an X and changed one of them to an X and the other one left it as an S, because I've done that. So don't get nervous about it, just ask me. This doesn't look right.
Are there going to be word problems in this?
No words. The only words. is 8-4, I think was those, those were variation problem? And there's no way for me to do variation problems without writing in words. So there's 2 off of that section. That's the closest that I come to word problems. 32. So it's t plus 24 equals t times t plus 6. What do you do first? You expand on the right-hand side, don't you? So the first thing we have to do is on that right-hand side, we got to distribute that thing. Now what are we going to do?
You move the left-hand side to the right.
Okay, get 0 by itself, and Damon says he wants to get it so his leading term is positive. When he writes it descending order, he wants to get 0 on the left. So now, what are we going to, I'm taking that t over with that 6t, and the t that's going over is going negative, right?
Goes 5.
So it's a 5t, and then a minus 24. Now, what are we going to have to do with this thing? Trial and error, because it's not a special case, is it? So it's trial and error. And it's a T and a T, and the signs are, what are the signs?
Opposite.
Opposite signs. So what 2 numbers times itself is 24, and what is it when they're opposite signs? The difference is 5. Eight and 3, right? So which sign? The 8 and 3.
The 8's positive.
The 8 is positive, and the 3 is negative. So now we're ready to apply the principle. T plus 8 equals 0, or T minus 3 equals 0. So T equals negative 8, or T equals 3. Another thing, when you're taking the hour exam, or the final, if you get too nervous and upset, just tell me you want to go outside and walk around. You'll get a drink. If you got to calm yourself down, just tell me you got to go and go out and walk it off, right? And then come back in and sit down, do your problem. Okay, 3B. Now, I'm going to try doing an X, see what I can convert this thing without making a mistake. I did it. What? Okay, expand it on the left, right? So it's a 3x squared minus 6x equals 11x plus 6. Now what?
Bring the right side over.
We could get 0 by itself, and we're going to go 0 on the right. So the right comes over. We don't have any other x squares, but that 11x on the right's coming over as a negative with a negative 6, making it negative 17, right? And that 6 on the right's coming over negative. Now you can see what? It's descending order, leading term positive, no common factors, not a special case, right? So it's going to be trial and error. It's got an X and an X. What are the signs?
Negative, both,
What?
all the opposite.
Opposite signs. Don't make that mistake, you kick yourself on the exams. Okay. 1 and 3, 1 and 6, 2 and 3. Now, what are you telling yourself it's going to be? A sum or difference?
So,
What are the signs?
oh, the opposite difference.
I tell you what, if you start making those, you better walk around. Okay. So it's going to be a difference. So what are you going to combine? What way?
It's just gonna walk around.
But it's going to be a difference of 17. So what's going with what? Okay. So which goes where, Alyssa? Okay. You're saying the 3 has to go with the 6 and the 1 with the 1, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now then tell me where the 1 and 6 goes.
The 6 is versus negative.
Okay. Because 6 is involved in the larger product, and the 1 goes there, correct? Now then, the 1 and 3, how are you going to put those? The 3 is associated with which one, which value? Go ahead, Alyssa. With the 6. So that means the 3 has to go there, right? So it's 3x plus 1 or x minus 6. So it's x is equal to 1/3 negative, or x is equal to 6. $36. Do you think I can do that? Convert to x without making a mistake? Okay, did I do it successfully?
Yeah.
Now what do you do with that? Okay, we got to FOIL the left-hand side, don't we? Because we got to get 0 by itself. So the left-hand side to FOIL it is going to be the first terms, 6x squared. Outside plus 3x. Inside minus 4x. Last minus 2 equals 2x squared minus 11x minus 10. Now what do we do? What do we got to do? We got to get what? 0 by itself? And then we got to do descending order, leading term positive. Yeah, Nick?
The second, on the other side, the equal signs of 3x.
Oh, is that, this is 3x squared here?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Now what are we going to do with that? We got to get 0 by itself, and we want the leading term to be positive.
We're going to bring 3x squared over.
Okay,
That's
bring
like-
everything on the
That's like-
right
Yep.
and leave 0 on the left, right? So the 3x squared comes over. So it's 3x squared. Then this 11x comes over as a positive. So on this side, we got what? A negative x? And so positive 11 and the negative x is what? Plus 10x. Then this comes over as a positive 10 with a negative 2 is a positive 8, isn't it? If I did it right, that's it. So now, what? It's in descending order, leading term positive, 0 by itself, no common factors, right? Trinomial, not a special case, so it's a trial and error thing. So it's going to be x and x with the signs of what? Both positive, right? So it's 1 and 3, 1 and 8, 2 and 4. So is the 10 going to be a sum or a difference? It's a sum. When the signs are the same, it's always a sum. So what is going to make a sum of 10?
1 and 3 and 2 and 4.
Okay. And the 2 goes with the, this 2 goes with the 3, right? Does it make any difference where I put the 2 and the 4? No, because they're both positives. But now it makes a difference. We said the 2 had to go with the 3, right? So that means the 3's got to go right there. X plus 2 equals 0, or 3x plus 4 equals 0. So x has got to equal negative 2. X is equal to a negative 4/3, right? X squared plus 14ax plus 48a squared. So 0's by itself. It's descending order in x. And you see it's ascending in a squared. This is going to be a factorable problem. Is there any common factors? None, is there? No common factors. Now, this is not a squared term back here, so it's not a complete square special case. So this is going to be a trial and error thing, right? So my first terms are x. What's my signs? This one says same sign, this says positive sign, right? My last term has got to be both of them a's, but now then, it's what two numbers times itself is 48, whose what sum is 14. Two numbers times itself is 48, whose sum is 14. What did you say? 6 and 8. Does it make any difference where I put the 6 and 8? No. 6 and 8. So then I apply my principle. So x equals negative 6a, or x equals negative 8a. So it's x squared plus 9xy minus 36y squared. Okay, zeros by itself. It's descending order in x and it's ascending in y. That one's going to have a chance of being factorable. It's not a special case trinomial because this is a negative right here. So what I got, trial and error. This is going to be an x and an x. What are my signs? Plus and minus. Now, this has got to be a y and a y, right, to get y squared. Well, what two numbers times itself is 36, whose difference is 9? What? What is it? 12 and 3. Now, which has got to be where? We have to end up with a positive 9. It has to be positive 12, don't it? And a negative 3. Right? So it's 12 and 3. So it's got to be that way. Is that right? And set each one of the terms equal to 0. Okay. And that's about as much time as we got.